Silverstone, we are set, ready to go racing. Round 16 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Green flag is waved, everybody sets off on a very chilly September afternoon. Position, Tom Ingram lines up second on the grid. And before we go racing, Tom, without trying to add pressure here for you, it's going to be crucial to get a good start here, isn't it?
It's always crucial to get a good start no matter where you're starting. So yeah, of course you want to get a good one, but if I can repeat what I did at Stockton last weekend out, we had some really good starts. That would be ideal.
It seemed to take a little bit of the season for the Corolla to really come good, but now with what we have seen here and what we saw at Thruxton, you're back in the game, aren't you, for the title?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, we knew we were lacking a little bit of points in the first half of the season. We were strong every weekend, but not really had any sparkle. So we were lacking a little bit of that. So yeah, nice to have got to Thruxton, taking 2 wins and a fifth. I hope we can do the same again today. Let's wait and see.
And of course, you're ahead of Colin and Ash, which is great for the championship if you can stay ahead in this first race. So there's always the points to think of as well as a race win here.
Yeah, absolutely right. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head. We've got to be thinking about points. Yes, of course we want to win, and yes, we're going to be pushing hard to go and get the win in this race. But at the same time, we've got to be thinking of points. We've got to try and make up the deficit against Colin and Ash, of course.
Tom, we'll leave you to it. Good luck.
Cheers, guys.
So Tom Ingram makes his way round to the grid. The grid for round 16 looks like this. Dan Camish on pole position. Tom Ingram goes from second. Third is Rory Butcher, and Colin Turkington will start fourth ahead of Tom Oliphant and Matt Neal. Next, it will be championship leader Ash Sutton, and Adam Morgan starts 8th with row 5, Tom Chilton and then Jake Hill. Ollie Jackson is 11th ahead of Josh Cook. Then it's Carl Boardley and Stephen Jelly, the 2-1 Series BMWs together ahead of Aidan Moffat and Senna Proctor. Sam Osborne 17th ahead of Jack Goff, Bobby Thompson and Tom Onslow Cole. Chris Smiley quite a long way back, one to watch maybe, 21st ahead of Michael Crease and then Andy Neat. Nick Hamilton is 24th ahead of Jade Edwards, about to have her first ever British Touring Car Championship race. James Gornall is 26th, never got a lap time in because of damage on his outlap, because he was hit by Jack Butel, who got a 7th place grid drop. He starts flat last in the Mercedes. He had qualified 20th. He'll be one to watch on pace. So the cars making their way up to the grid. Tim, is it wide open, or is there one driver that you think is going to come through this as the favourite for a win?
Camish has it on sheer pace, but it'll all depend on the start and the first lap.
There's the weight situation. Championship ballast, of course, so 36 kilos for Dan Camish, 48 for Tom Ingram. You go all the way up to 60 for Ash Sutton, 6 kilos for Senna Proctor, 45 for Jade Edwards as a substitute driver in that Vauxhall Astra. There is Jack Butel making his way up to the grid. And he's somebody else that is going to try and, first of all, avoid James Gornall on the first lap and then make some progress from there. So we're good to go racing. It is 22 laps of the short national circuit at Silverstone. It is round 16 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. It is Dan Camish on pole position. The lights go red at the home of British Motor Racing. Lights out, we go racing. Not a great start by Butcher. Better start by Camish than by Ingram on the run down towards Cox. The Honda leads the way. Ingram tries to squeeze up the inside line, but to no avail. Butcher is on the back foot. He tries to go around the outside to retake third. Off the road goes Camish. He gets back on. Can Ingram get up alongside him? Not quite. The lighter Honda stays ahead, but Ingram is crawling all over the back of him as they arrive at Beckett's for the first time. Butcher is on the outside, trying to hang on to third, and Ingram gets up the inside of Camish coming out of Beckett's, and he's got the lead.
Camish is struggling with cold tyres. There's only a track temperature of 18 degrees and an air temperature of 11 degrees. He made a great start in Camish, but they're side by side into Brooklands. Camish has the inside and just manages to defend. They're leaning on that right rear tyre. Look how wide everybody goes. It's cold on the right rear tyre.
And Colin Turkington off the road, losing a little bit of momentum. Ash Sutton looking for a way past Tom Oliphant, but it is Dan Cam that will lead at the end of lap 1. Ingram is second, Butcher is back up to third. Fourth is Turkington, and Sutton's alongside Oliphant. You're on board with the championship leader. 1 lap in the book as they come past the pits, and Sutton there, look, he's about to lose out. Oliphant is on the outside line, braking late, going into Cox. They are absolutely door handle to door handle. Oliphant now off the road. So Sutton is on the road as well, so wide does he go? But Oliphant does go all the way around the outside to take the place away. And it's important here, Oliphant is trying to peg back Sutton so Turkington can escape up the road.
Yeah, this is great to have on-board footage again. First time we've had it this year, and it's so good. We put you in the driver's seat. Here you are with Colin Turkington chasing down Butcher into Brooklands corner. He's had a good start to this race. No big incidents so far.
Turning their way out of Brooklands then, with the pack all squabbling in midfield. One I'm not convinced took the start, Jack Goff, because he comes down the lap. I didn't think I'd see the car head for the pit lane at the end of the green flag there. And Jack, local man, I think is in trouble as the leaders come over the line. Camish still leads the way from Ingram in second place, but the gap between the pair of them was 0.3 of a second. It is now 0.2 of a second. Ingram doing a quicker lap time than did Camish, so he brings down the gap. It is still game on for the race lead, but Sutton 6th, struggling to get past Oliphant.
The tyres are still coming up to temperature. The rear-wheel drive cars actually made a good start to this race. Oh, was that a dive? No, I thought it was a dive from one of the motor-based cars. Ollie Jackson, but it wasn't. But they've made good progress so far. Look, Turkington, Oliphant both running strongly in these first laps when their tyres take longer to come up to temperature.
Down towards Brooklands, then Camish from Ingram. Butcher is creeping up onto the tail of the Toyota then, so you've got Honda, Toyota, Ford, BMW in the top 4 places. Debris flies into the air as Colin Turkington now, thinking points, tries to work out where he can get past Butcher. He gets a good exit from Luffield and there's contact between the two. Turkington goes to the grass on the inside. Now does that spoil the momentum? The driver that could come up to challenge is going to be Oliphant, his teammate. He does come up to challenge, and Ash Sutton wants to try to get past both of those BMWs. Turkington hangs on to the position, but this could be Sutton's opportunity to gain 2 places as Turkington recovers.
Yeah, Turkington was looking to get up the inside of Butcher as they came through Woodcote, but tagged the rear of the car and lost a bit of momentum. Probably fortunate it was his teammate Oliphant behind him, not Sutton. I think Sutton would have really tried hard if it had been him behind Turkington when he lost that time.
Sutton topped the times in free practice 1, but didn't get it all hooked up quite the way in qualifying. The top 2 getting away slightly while Butcher was busy battling with Turkington. Ingram still throwing everything at this to try to find a way past Camish. It's the repeat, but in the other way, if you like, than what we had last week. This time it's Camish having to soak up the pressure there. Chilton, Neal and Cook all getting together, and Adam Morgan coming through the pack too. So is Jack Butell in the second of the Mercedes. Over the timing line comes the race leader. Camish to Ingram was 0.288 last time. Drama here up at Beckett. You see Morgan having a go on the outside. That was Matt Neal getting sideways, so he lost out to Hill, to Chilton and to Cook. Yeah, that's what put him in the meat of that BTC sandwich, wasn't it? Yeah. Not sure if Neal got a little tag from the rear or just locked the rear up on brakes. He's back in front of the 2 BTC cars though, so he's fallen back strongly. Jelly gets a little touch, crease into the side of Gornall and into the gravel. Can he get it out of there? We saw in qualifying a car get out which only had 2 wheels in, but I think both his fronts were in the gravel, so unlikely. Yeah, it was Michael Crease yesterday, wasn't it? He was able to dig himself out. We go safety car, Michael Crease in the gravel. They race till they get to the boards, and Ingram's trying to have a go for position. He might just get there in time. Let's see. Side by side out of the corner. Is he ahead? Yes, he is, as they come into Woodcote. Now, who's going to give way out of all of this? They cross the line, absolutely dead set level. The boards will be there. Now, who's going to give way? Engineers will be on the radio telling the driver what they ought to be doing. But Ingram is ahead at the moment. Ingram is shown ahead as they cross the timing line by 9 thousandths of a second. I mean, Camish left a little bit of a gap at Luffield there. He's been getting a little bit wider and left a gap that Ingram needed no second invitation to get up the inside. But yeah, across the line, Ingram was definitely in front. Well, is he going to be able to stay there? Where was the first of the boards? However, you can anticipate that Dynamics will be talking to Dan, Speedworks to Tom about the situation. Here's the replay. Yes, there was a bit of a nudge, I think, that got Michael Crease out of shape, and as he came back across the road, he harpooned James Gornall, who's having a really miserable weekend. On board with Jade Edwards coming into Beckett's, and you see the cars in front going. She has plenty of time to react and hold it under control as Creasy's car gets the lift, and that'll take a lap. Remember, the laps here very short, only 1.6 miles, so not long. A disgruntled Creasy walks away, trudges away. So very disappointing for him. Yeah, Michael's main aim was to try and hang on to the lead in the Jack Sears Trophy for the drivers that haven't had an overall podium, but a non-score here is going to hinder that. There is Jack Goff. I said he was missing from the grid. He went out, did an exploratory lap, and he's back in, and clearly there is a big drama for Jack. It's just not having, again, I'm afraid to say, a good season, and we know that Jack is a very good driver. We're not seeing the best of him this year. Now, this is what 9,000s look like when they cross the timing line. Ingram just with his nose in front. Now, where is the board? Can you spot one, Tim?
Well, we've already gone past, I think. So, oh, there is the line. Look, yeah. Actually, yeah.
There it is.
Well, interestingly, yeah, he was. It depends on the camera angle, doesn't it? Because at first I thought Camish was in front, then I thought Ingram was in front. Maybe it just depends where you put the transponder in the car.
Well, people say, why do you call it a timing line, not the start and finish line? Well, one reason is the start and finish lines, plural, are in different places at many tracks, Silverstone being one, and the timing line is the control line. That is exactly where the results are taken. And as Tim said, when they crossed that line, Ingram was ahead by the 9,000s, so therefore he is the race leader. Whether he got ahead before the first safety car board or whether there was one previously we couldn't see, the officials will have a look at it, and if anything needs to be done, it will be done. And there, the field coming out of Luffield with Camish back ahead now of Ingram.
Right, well, the only reason that can be is not because of how they cross the timing line, but purely because of where they cross the safety car board. So presumably at that point, coming out of Luffield, or even just prior to Luffield, Camish was still in front.
Indeed so. So the teams will have checked all
that. Look at
Camish's
car. Camish is 3 feet behind his line. Now, I know he's had a problem in the past by lining up wrongly, but he gave away 3 feet there, so he needs to readjust where his tape on the pit wall is. And look, he has a little bit of a moment there and runs wide, but he's still at this moment in front.
So Ingram will try again. Of course, he's served intent, hasn't he, to Dan Camish, who, as you said, left that door slightly ajar. So the lights go out on the safety car. We understand that the timekeepers use their photo finish camera that is also on that timing line to double check rather than the transponder data, and the camera reckoned that Camish was ahead by a Nats Whatsit, so therefore he is allowed to be back on track in the lead. And there you go. Although our camera is slightly different, the timekeeper's camera is dead level with the timing line, and it had Camish ahead by the slenderest of margins. So let's go racing again at Silverstone. Can Tom Ingram find a way through into the race lead? Can Dan Camish make the Honda wider than ever? Rory Butcher should be up with them, and he's still busy defending from Turkington. We're back racing then. Race distance will be extended because of the safety car period. Camish leads the way. Ingram is second. 3/10 the margin as they dive down to Cops Corner.
Well, Camish has had a gift here because he's been given back the lead, having lost it at Luffield, so he'll know next time not to leave any sort of a gap there.
So what can Ingram do then? What can Sutton do as well to split those BMWs? If he can get past Oliphant, then he can have a proper go at Turkington, which matters for the championship.
But he's not going to take too many risks with Oliphant, although this is Sutton we're talking about. He's going to go for it, isn't he? But he knows that Oliphant will be extremely robust, at least in his defence.
So the race leaders dive down towards Brooklands. Sutton is coming under attack from Adam Morgan as well. There, Jake Hill versus Ollie Jackson. That's Jake going round the outside for position. Really good move. Puts him up into 8th place. That was good stuff. Round the outside into Brooklands.
Yeah, good move that from Jake. He's qualified in the top 10 again and made progress now. In 8th, he's going to be moving up, isn't he, into, as he comes across the line, he's still in 8th.
So he's gained that spot then over Ollie Jackson, down to 9th. Next target for Hill is Adam Morgan. Morgan's all over the back of Sutton. The lead gap was down from 3/10 to just under 2/10 last time. Ingram, once again, is taking the battle to Camish, isn't he?
He's certainly right there. He hasn't lost anything, has he, for position? Although you have to say, looking at the two cars, Camish's car looks more stable, but then that's just the way Ingram likes his car set up. He likes it twitchy, he likes it loose at the rear, but it always looks really marginal on the point of spinning out. But Camish's car looks extremely poised.
Yeah, but Ingram, like Sutton, always really exciting to watch. Look, he's right there on the back of the Honda then. Don't forget, the Toyota is heavier on championship ballast. Ingram 3rd in the championship, 5th is Camish. up towards the timing line. This will be the end of lap number 10. We're up to 25 laps because of the safety car period. Camish goes through, chased by Ingram. The gap actually widens a touch over the line, and Camish does the fastest lap of the race now, 57.7, trying to stretch the margin. Through on the inside of Jackson goes Josh Cook, so that puts him up into the top 10 now. Josh working his way forwards.
Yeah, it takes a few laps to get these tyres fully up to temperature, even after that safety car. So the lap times just shows how generous, if you like, this circuit is to tyres. It's not an extreme degradation circuit, so they can run many, many laps and very consistently as well. The drop-off over the course of the race won't be huge.
Camish trying to edge away, but he can't do so. Ingram is still with him. Turkington looking to get past Butcher, but also conscious that he's ahead of Sutton. That's where he needs to be for points. However, Ingram is outscoring the pair of them.
Yeah, look how Turkington goes a little bit wide mid-corner in Luffield to rotate the car and use that rear-wheel drive to get really good straight-line drive off the corner. I notice Camish doing exactly what I thought he'd do, and that is hold the inside line all the way around Luffield, hold that curve and not leave a gap again.
Aidan Moffat versus Tom Chilton versus Senna Proctor. Great little battle going on here, 13th, 14th, 15th. And Cole Baldley in the BMW there, also trying to get in on the act as they head up towards Beckett. So there's a BMW, that's Oliphant off the road, he's got a problem. Tom Oliphant crawling way offline up towards Beckett.
He looks like damage on the right rear, damage on the right rear.
So has he been tagged by Ash Sutton, who was the man directly behind him? The BMW with damage, effectively out of the race. Sutton released, can now go after Turkington.
Well, we'll have to see what's happened there, but it looked to me like the right rear was crabbing a little, broken toe link or something. Obviously, remember the last race at Thruxton, Turkington had that coil pack failure, electrical failure, caused that misfire. They've all been changed on the BMWs now. Here we get a better look. Here comes Sutton, you're on board as we come through Cops. Oh! Yeah, it was on the curb. I think he's tweaked the rear suspension arm, bouncing over that inside curve. As he came back onto the track, it pulled the wheel in the wrong direction. Certainly nothing to do with Sutton.
So Tom Oliphant then out of the race. Ash Sutton gains another place, gains more points, and you're on board now with Colin Turkington, who will get the message that his protector is no longer behind him. It's his championship rival honing in on him. Third and fourth, Butcher ahead of Turkington as they run into the stadium. Ingram still wants the race lead, but also thinking points, being ahead of Turkington and Sutton. So Dan Camish leads the way. Last time the margin was 4/10 of a second. Turkington, if he can, needs to get some more points out of this race as well. So Butcher is under attack, and there's Oliphant in the pit lane.
Yes, Mechanic's going straight onto that left rear to have a look. But yeah, shaking the heads. Well, he's out of the points anyway, isn't he? There was no way he was going to get back in the points. So poor old Oliphant, his weekend's severely compromised now.
Has to start working towards race 3 then, see if he can benefit on that reverse grid. As you see there, Josh Cook, Stephen Jelly heading into Beckett, Aidan Moffat through the right-hander as well. What's going on lower down the order? Jade Edwards, incidentally, running now in 21st place, keeping out of trouble, but in a battle as well. So she's come from the Clio Cup. Pretty robust racing in that. So Jade now heads down the National Straight, looking for a way to get possibly up past the Audi ahead.
Yeah, good experience. Nothing like getting a whole race distance under your belt to really better understand the car, its performance, and also your driving relative to everybody else, because you're literally all on the track in the same place, race against each other, so you can see where you're better, where you need to improve, judging by the cars in front.
Another big whack as the cars rattle over the curve at Cops Corner. On board then with Turkington, still running in that 4th place. Don't forget, up towards Beckett's now. So evenly matched, rear-wheel drive BMW, front-wheel drive Ford. Rory Butcher, 42 kilos of weight on the car, Turkington 54.
Track limits infringement for Senna Proctor, but there could well be others as we get towards the end of the race and people get a little bit braver. Camish looks to have just controlled this pretty nicely, hasn't he? He's got the fastest lap, he's still lapping within a 1/10 and a half of that now.
Battle on here, Stephen Jelly in the BMW, and then behind is Josh Cook. So 9th and 10th, these two. Jelly for Team Parker Racing, the BTC Racing Honda behind. And there is Tom Chilton, who has lost out to Carl Boardley now, so Chilton losing places rather than gaining.
Jake Hillen is going well. He's obviously 7th now with the retirement of Oliphant.
And Aidan Moffat also having a good run ahead of this queue of cars in 11th spot. Now look, Sutton is right up with Turkington. This is bad news for the Northern Irish driver. He's stuck behind Scotsman Butcher and he's got Sutton crawling all over the back of him now. So Turkington as busy attacking as he is defending. Yeah, he can't afford to sit there and just wait. He's got to push, but Butcher's driving a really good race. Oh, a bit wide there, Turkington. Sutton gets in close. Turkington will have to hang it in really close. Sutton's round the outside. He won't get all the way round, but he might get a great exit here. He'll be on the throttle a little bit earlier. Now we'll see the straight line speed. Look, the Toker-engined Infinity, very strong indeed. He's getting a double toe as well from Butcher and Turkington. But down the straight, absolutely no advantage gained there. But Butcher having to really go defensive now. Camish, meantime, is just edging away from Ingram. Sutton is out wide, coming out of Cops corner. Where does he make the move against Turkington? He could not be closer, could he? Look back for the BMW. The Infinity wide into the corner. Can he get the undercut? Looks for a gap on the inside. No gap there. Tickles the tail of the BMW. Come on, Colin. He says, I'm quicker.
He's really ruffling him up, isn't he? Sutton likes to drive closer to other cars than any other driver I know. There was barely a foot between them as they approached the braking area at 135 miles an hour. Look, he's just nudged a little bit of bodywork off there where the towing line normally would attach to. Really close. Oh, Turkington's trying to get up the inside again, lost a bit of momentum again there. He's really lost momentum. Every time he gets up the inside or just rubs up Butcher, he loses momentum.
Over the line they come. Ford, BMW and Infinity. 3rd, 4th, 5th. What can Turkington do to find a way past Butcher? Can Sutton get past Turkington? Through Cops, again the Infinity goes wide. We're on to lap 18 of 25 now. Remember how close Sutton got a lap ago under braking for Beckett. He will do so again here, on board with the Infinity now.
Black and white flag for Andy Neat for track limits. But this is a great back, isn't it? Butcher's driving really well. He knows actually having Sutton on the back of Turkington is helping him because he knows Turkington's attention is going to be as much about defence as attack.
Behind these three, there is Adam Morgan's Mercedes. Now, can that benefit as these three squabble and hold one another up? Let's see. Up to the end then of lap 18 come the race leaders. Half a second between Camish and Ingram last time around. Here's your fight for 3rd in the game. Sutton looking to the inside line of Woodcote. Rory Butcher, though, is doing a really good job of defending, isn't he? He's hanging on to that last podium place. Down towards Cops, they dive once again.
Yeah, he's really only having to defend a little bit into Brooklands. Round the rest of the lap, he's driving his normal line, and that's good enough to keep him in front. The battle at the front, Camish now has a 1 second lead. If that was Formula 1, he'd broken the DRS, wouldn't he?
And Ingram is being warned about track limits as well, so the gap is widening. But again, as Ingram said pre-race, he's thinking about points, so yes, he'd like to win, but points are important. Sutton right on the back of Turkington once more as they head down towards Brooklands now. Turkington moves across to cover off the inside line. A little bit of tar smoke from Butcher's forward focus. Out of the left of Brooklands now, swing right into Luffield. Sutton to the outside line. Can he get the undercut? Can he get a tight line? The drive off the corner? No, he can't. Again, Turkington fends him off and Butcher keeps the pair at bay. Corner. Camish now 11 tenths clear. In 6th place you see Adam Morgan, 7th it is Hill, 8th Neil, 9th Jelly, 10th Cook. More and more drivers now being warned about track limits, including Ash Sutton incidentally, and Adam Morgan. And Bobby Thompson is yet another to add to that list. Into Beckett's then now, lap 20 of 25 at Silverstone.
Well, we saw Sutton wide last lap round, so no surprise that he got the warning there. It is quicker. You carry more speed. If you're happy to run wide and you commit to the corner with that knowledge, you will be quicker. But it's no great advantage because it's relatively easy to defend into Beckett's, and Turkington has it covered.
Rory Butcher 3rd. You see how much curb they're using. Look back from Turkington's car. There is Sutton behind. Running out of options now to try and find a way past that BMW. Turkington 2nd in the championship. Sutton, the man behind him on the road, ahead of him in the points race. Past the pits they come, dive down the Copse corner. Camish now, 1.1 seconds ahead. There's the next tranche of drivers. Thompson, Morgan, Sutton, all being warned about staying on the circuit. Not many taking heed.
No, not from the look of that shot.
So into Beckett goes Sutton. There is Morgan behind him, who can't quite get up with them, can he? Despite how fierce that fight for third is, he's not really being able to bring down the gap.
Well, that's because they haven't really been driving offline and going any slower. Butcher's been able to maintain his line all the way around.
Bobby Thompson to the inside of Tom Onslow-Cole there. Look, that is for 18th place out of the points. Andy Neate tries to get in on the act as well. Onslow-Cole mows the lawn, tries to get back onto the tarmac, which he does. Jade Edwards, 21st, you're on board with this. She's going really well in the Ford, in the Vauxhall rather. The Ford and Butcher, though, is in third still, cutting into Woodcote now. Turkington and Sutton, fourth and fifth. Not yet being able to find a way by. Say it again, Butcher doing a really good job of defending.
He certainly is. And he knows now, after this many laps, he knows where the other cars are strong, where he needs to defend. Jade Edwards would have been loving that group in front. She'd have been hoping, come on guys, get together. Give me an opportunity to sneak past easily.
And she's going to have a go on the inside to get past Andy Neate. Job done, through on the inside line. So Jade Edwards into the top 20 now. So this is a very impressive debut, no matter what your background in motorsport is. She's going really well. Great effort this by Jade Edwards, as Turkington still attacks Butcher. A little bit wide maybe into Brooklands, as that gives Sutton the sniff of a chance. Let's see.
And remember, Jade has got 45 kilos of additional ballast as a replacement driver, so that was great stuff.
And that battle isn't over yet either, so nor is this one. Third, fourth, fifth. The lead gap up to 1.3 seconds now. Camish away, Ingram settling for points, seemingly. A little bit of damage you see on the front of the Ash Sutton Infinity. Fluttering bodywork, out of Copse corner they come. Now there, look, Butcher has stolen a march of a couple of lengths, and now Turkington is very much on the defensive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Turkington's realised that he's not going to really get an opportunity with Butcher, and his attention has really turned to holding off. Oh, this is back on board with Jade Edwards. Down the in. Oh, she got hit and pushed out wide onto the grass. That was Andy Neate, I think, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. So she got past Andy Neate. He takes the place back in physical fashion. So,
well, Andy Neate got excluded from all of the races at Thruxton for bad driving. So you'd think he'd be on his guard to not get a repeat of that.
Yes, that story may not yet be over, of course. The officials might have a look at it post-race. However, right now, all eyes are on third, fourth, fifth, because the gap Butcher to Turkington has come down again. There is Jake Hill versus Matt Neal. Those two together for 7th and 8th. And also going through in 10th place, Josh Cook. The two BTCC cars struggling for the pace, sadly, it would appear in this race. Josh was saying about getting his elbows out, if he can, but he's struggling for runs, it would appear.
Yeah, strange. Well, he was complaining about his brakes, so I'm not quite sure what that is. There's, you know, you can change discs, you can change pads, you can change calipers, you can change lines and fluid, but that's about it. So I'm not sure what the problem was there. We saw Carl Bordley there side by side on the last lap, getting past Ollie Jackson, not running with it. Oh, Turkington's forcing the issue with Butcher. Butcher still driving defensively though, gets a good exit. Is Sutton on the inside? No, he's on the outside.
Over the line together, Turkington's BMW will have the line for the corner, but can Sutton go right round the outside? Let's see, they both break as late as they dare. Turkington gets the place back, but Sutton has certainly shown intent, hasn't he now? Butcher can get away. Turkington has to try to repel the challenge of the Infinity for one more lap at Silverstone. Absolutely on the edge, into the braking zone they come. Turkington stays ahead, but can he stay there for half a lap more? Camish is on target for a win ahead of Ingram. Butcher is third, and both Turkington and Sutton run wide coming out of Beckett, but Camish is heading for the win, Tim.
He's going to revenge those Thruxton defeats by Tom Ingram with a classy display. Not put a, well, just a little bit wrong with one Nuffield, but the rest of the race absolutely perfect from Dan Camish's point of view. And look at this, the final battle, Sutton trying ever so hard on Turkington. It's going to be a run to the line, but here comes Camish.
Dan Camish wins at Silverstone, the 7th win of his touring car career, and he wins by just over a second from Tom Ingram in 2nd place. Third across the line is Butcher, then Turkington, then Sutton, then Morgan to round out the top 6. 7th will go the way of Jake Hill, and this is Ollie Jackson versus Cole Boardley. This is for 12th. They're side by side. Can the BMW get its nose in front? Let's see. The answer is yes. Boardley ahead of Jackson on the line by 17 thousandths of a second. It is always worth keeping your foot nailed to the boards, no matter what position you're in, because there's always a chance you can just out-drag on the run to the line. And Cole Boardley did it, 12th place. Great effort for the BMW driver. And so Cole Boardley then, who's had an up-and-down kind of a season, takes his equal best race result of the year. That Dan Camish is victorious for the 3rd time.
A nice friendly wave of respect there as Tom Ingram drew up alongside Camish, and they acknowledged each other. They both are great professionals and respect each other, and that was a good race. Sutton there on board gave it everything he could against the back of Turkington, who in turn was giving everything to Butcher, who was perhaps the driver of the race, really, to hold those two champions off.
It's going to make the championship standings interesting, isn't it, with Ingram ahead of both Turkington, who in turn was ahead of Sutton. So the championship points graphic, when we compute, will be certainly revealing. Colin Turkington 4th position, Ash Sutton 5th, but Dan Camish wins at Silverstone. Round 16 of the championship claimed by Dan Camish ahead of Tom Ingram and Rory Butcher. Colin Turkington 4th ahead of Ash Sutton, and then Adam Morgan 6th from Jake Hill and Matt Neal. Stephen Jelly a good 9th, and it's Josh Cook who rounds out the top 10. Aidan Moffat 11th, Cole Boardley just 12th on the line ahead of Ollie Jackson, then Senna Proctor. And the last point going to Tom Chilton. Chris Smiley up to 16th ahead of Sam Osborne. Bobby Thompson 18th from Tom Onslow Cole. Jack Butel 20th from last on the grid. Andy Neat 21st ahead of James Gornall. Jade Edwards elbowed back down the order. 23rd she finishes ahead of Nicholas Hamilton. But clearly big problems with the Volkswagen. So now the cars go through the post-race technical checks. Ride height, weight, checked by the TOCA technical team. And then the cars will be allowed into Parc Fermé. So what does all of this do to the championship? Ash Sutton now 14 points ahead of Colin Turkington, and Tom Ingram is there in 3rd, 26 points adrift. 4th is Dan Camish coming back into the equation. Rory Butcher 5th ahead of the now non-scoring Tom Oliphant. Tom Chilton 7th. Adam Morgan is 8th, getting closer to Chilton. Matt Neal only 6 points back from Morgan. He's 9th, and it's Jake Hill now rounding out the top 10. So,
it'll be interesting in race 2, because both Camish and Ingram will gain weight, in fairness. I mean, Camish will be up to 60 kilos and Ingram will be up to 54, so it'll be interesting to see how they carry that weight. All the cars have carried the weight very well here. The top 10 cars in qualifying all had weight on, and we know Camish has got that little tenth or two in performance advantage. Is that weight going to be enough to swing it? It'll be a fascinating race too.
Yes, indeed. We had the same top 2, didn't we, in races 1 and 2 at Thruxton a week ago. Dan Camish, though, as you were saying, certainly has avenged those poor starts, or less good starts, to be fair, of last week. Thumbs up, big grin. That win seems to mean a lot, doesn't it? Yeah,
it absolutely will. He, you know, slightly fortuitous with that safety car, because he had lost the position to Ingram with a good move, and it was only because of the safety car board's position that he was given that place back. Had that stood, I think Ingram may well have held that position, but Dan learnt a vital lesson there. Don't leave half a car's width at Luffield.
Absolutely right. Well, he can reflect on that in a few moments. Tom Ingram will do likewise. And Rory Butcher was a very busy man trying to fend off that challenge of Colin Turkington, who in turn had Ash Sutton behind him. So 2 more races to look forward to here at Silverstone this afternoon. Can Dan Camish do what Ingram did a week ago and win with maximum ballast in race 2? Dan Mayo there in the blue jacket, the championship's coordinator, rounding up the drivers. And well done, say Tom and Dan to one another. We'll get the drivers into the interview area in a moment and be able to hear their thoughts at the end of race 1. Of course, the way you came across the line, the order in which you cross the line, is the grid for race 2. Take the weight accordingly. So Camish on maximum weight going into the second, and there a thought or two maybe on that safety car board and the lead change, albeit just briefly, but we'll get to the bottom of all of that in a moment or two's time. Rory Butcher in the Motorbase Ford, another good points haul for him in 3rd place. And the Fords traditionally always go well around here, so you can expect that car to be in the equation all day. So Dan Camish, the race winner. The gap at the end, 1 second. It is a magnificent 7th win for Dan Camish in the championship, and he's with Louise.
Well done, Dan. That one ticked all the boxes. You had the pole position, you got the win, and the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, happy days. Yeah, Tom did not make that easy, did he? I was so conscious at the start, obviously, you know, wanting to make a good one. I think me and Tom were about the same, but because I covered him up, I was so busy watching his front bumper that I kind of forgot to brake for turn 1. So ended up sort of miles off the road. Thankfully, kept it together and off we went. Tom gave a good chase though. He has a lot of traction in those opening laps, and he was able to sort of drive lines that I just couldn't quite get to, and actually got the lead, didn't he? And, you know, thankfully for me, it was sort of under safety car, which I was very happy to hear over the radio. You can reverse the positions.
You tell us about that, because you just kind of left the door a little bit open for him at Luffield, and he was straight in there and really dragged you up to that line, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I didn't think the door was open, but that's just, you know, he's got so much front end. I mean, I've seen for the last couple of years how they set that car up. It's on, you know, showing it now. He can really sort of use the front to rotate the car, and maybe we're a little bit lazier, but to be honest, I also think he kind of ran out of front as the race went on, and my car was consistent, and I managed to pull away in the end. So, no, great drive by him. It was like a real reversal from last week. He made me work for it, but yeah, really pleased to have got the victory.
Oh, you look really pleased. Your response when you got out of the car, that seemed to mean a lot to you.
It does mean a lot, you know, to lead off the front and soak up the pressure, and to be honest, get it off the line. You know, after 3 terrible starts last week, you know, 95% of that race was done in the opening corner. That could have been very different. So, you know, it's not over yet. There's still got another couple to do, and got to stay consistent. But no, it's been a great opening race. You know, I'm really pleased. The guys have given me a great car all weekend. You know, so massive thanks to Dynamics, and we move forward. Let's see if we can keep racking those points up.
Well done, you. Top tip for the next one. There was about 3 feet between the front of your car and the front of your box on that first start. So you click forward a bit next time.
I'm not going to. I am not getting done for that again. I know all too well that the heartbreak that can cause. So yeah, maybe a little bit left in the tank there as well.
Well done, well done. Well, let's bring in the man who chased you home, and no repeat of last time out at Thruxton. This time, Tom, you have to settle for P2.
Yeah, but look, I'm at the same time, Lou, I said before the start of the race, I was having a chat with David on the phone whilst I was going round on the warm-up lap, and I said, look, yes, I want to win. Of course, I'd like to win, but at the same time, I've got to be wary that I'm after points, and points make prizes, so I've got to be wary of that. I was going to say at the start of the race, obviously I had a little bit of a better launch than Dan, and we were kind of elbows throughout the first lap, and then we had the safety car. You know, I managed to get the move done. So, as I was coming down the back straight, Spenny came on the across the radio to say, right, safety car out this lap. So I thought, bingo, I know Dan will have got the same call, so I'll launch an attack when he's not expecting it, and it worked perfectly. And I thought I was ahead at the line because I think I was ahead at the time, but the timekeepers obviously had a look at it and said it was the other way around. But a great result nonetheless. You know, really, really good result for Toyota Gazoo Racing UK against us. So very pleased.
Well done, you. Well done.
Cheers,
and
mate.
let's bring in the man who, boy, he had his mirrors full pretty much the whole way through that race. Rory Butcher, congratulations. That was a really hard fought for P3.
Yeah, it certainly was. I didn't make it easy for myself at the start. Launched pretty badly, and had to take a few risks on that first lap to make sure I stayed in front. And then it was quite easy to see that Colin had a little bit more kind of minimum speed in the slower corners, so he just crawled, you know, came right up into my rear bumper, and a couple of times I thought he was going to get past on the exit, so I just had to cover all bases. But as soon as Ash came onto his tail, it made my life a little bit easier. I knew that Colin's mind would be elsewhere.
It was a good result. Well done, you. Congratulations. We'll see you out later on. Right, we're heading off for a break now. When we come back, the single-seaters will be out on track, so join us for the F4 in just a couple of minutes.